Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day. Today, Houston Astros beat the Minnesota Twins 9-7 in extra innings. 10 innings, and the Astros get the job done. 9-7 is the final score. 13 hits for the Astros, 12 hits for the Twins. What a series for the Astros. Yes, there was only one run scored for the Astros yesterday, but the Astros had 9 hits yesterday and 9 hits Friday, which means the Astros had a total of 31 hits over these 3 games, and also a total of 15 runs scored over the last 3 games in this Minnesota series. What did the Astros do in the first 6 games at Daikin Park? They only scored 12 runs, and the hits was not much either. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but it was not good. It was around the 20s, maybe 30s, and that's 6 games at Daikin Park. That's what they did in 3 games on a road series. So I think this Astros team's already showing that their identity, and this has been the case a couple of seasons now. This was the case in 2023. This was actually it's a thing last year as well, where the Astros are offensively an amazing team on the road, and then it's just a completely different story at home. And I hope maybe as the season goes on, this Astros team can learn how to be better offensively at home and, not just on the road. But offensively, I think you have to be really impressed with what this team did on the road. I wish pitching would have been better, a little bit better. Pitching was a huge problem for this Astros team today. Gave up 7 runs. Ronel Blanco, man, that's rough. It's hard to see him struggle after what happened last season, how good he was last year. But you hope that he can get everything figured out. And Luis Contreras even struggled as well. But that shouldn't be a huge surprise, because if you look at it last year, Luis Contreras looked amazing in his first 5 innings of his career. Had not given up a single run in his first 5 innings of his career, then goes to Minnesota and gives up 6 runs, and he gave up 4 or 3 runs today. So 9-7, the Astros were down 7-1 in this game and came back. Unbelievable. It reminds me of the Astros-Mets game last year. But also another thing that it reminds me of is the what we saw with the Houston Cougars yesterday is what this Astros comeback reminded me of. Yesterday you saw the Houston Cougars in the second half against Duke down 14 points. Here's the interesting thing. The Cougs had a 5% chance to win yesterday in their game. I don't know the exact number what the Astros percentage odds were when the Astros were down 7-1, but it was probably around the number that the Cougs had. We gotta change the name from Space City to Comeback City. Not to mention the Rockets were down by 10 points and just came back. So all the Houston teams are coming back right now. So so 9-7 final score. The Astros scored a total of 8 unanswered runs in this game, and that's how they won both of these games in the series. Thursday started off the series. Twins scored the first 2 runs, and then the Astros had 5 unanswered, and then they do what they did today. All right, let's go over some stats. First stat I think is really key and important to go over is the Astros were 4 for 15 in runners in scoring position. That's not great, but that is the best numbers the Astros have put up with runners in scoring position so far this season. 4 for 15. Not only were there, but also you look at some of the outs that the Astros had with runners in scoring position. Some of the at bats that you didn't see a hit. A couple of those at bats were RBIs. Like Jeremy Pena is one of the at bats that you didn't see a hit on your run with runners in scoring position, but it still brought in an RBI. Or Yordan Alverez in the first inning sac fly. That obviously wasn't a hit for the Astros today, but that still was an RBI with runners in scoring position. So you got 2 RBIs with runners in scoring position that weren't hits today, with Pena's line out and Alvarez's sac fly. So, all right, 9-7 final score. 13 hits for the Astros, 12 for the Twins, 1 error for the Twins, 0 for the Astros. Win goes to Josh Hader. He's 1-0 now. Went 2 innings, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 0 walks. The good thing for Josh in this game, when he pitched the 9th inning, he only had around 7-8 pitches, might have been 9, and then did have to use a little bit more pitches in that 10th inning when the Astros used him because he did get up to 29 pitches. But still, a really good day for Josh Hader. We did see a couple times last year him being able to be stretched to the 10th inning, and he showed that again for the first time in 2025. I almost said 24. 3 strikeouts for Hader today. Loss goes to Verland. He's 1-1. 1 inning, get 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. All right, scoring summary. Yordan Alverez hit a sac fly that got the Astros on the board 1-0. Astros got off to a real nice start to this game. Singles for Altuve and Isak, and then Yordan brought in a run. But a vibe was lost from this Astros team when Ronel Blanco and Luis Contreras happened. First inning, sac fly, Larnach. RBI double for Jeffers, 3-1. Correa RBI single, 4-1. Buxton RBI double scores Wallner, 5-1. Larnach RBI double, 7-1. That's when things calm down. When you take out Blanco and Contreras and you bring in the rest of the bullpen of, I'm a big hater of them, but not today. Rafael Montero, Brian King, Brian Abreu, Josh Hader and they do what they did today, coming off the bullpen and giving you the work that they did. That's when things started to go the Astros' way. And then the bats start to come alive again. DeZenzo scored on an error. In the 5th inning, Altuve was safe at first on the throwing error by third baseman Castro. It's 2-7. This starts to build more life for the Astros. Paredes with a RBI single to left. Myers scored. Altuve to second, 3-7. Pena line out to left. Altuve scores. It's 4-7. Isak RBI single. Rogers scores. It's 5-7. And how about, we've been waiting for this swing. It has taken a while, 9 games, but it's finally happened. Yordan Alvarez was the big hit for the Astros in the 9th inning. Hits a 2-run shot. Isak scores, and it's 7-7. Then that 10th inning, Jose Altuve with a runner on third and first. Jake Myers was key with a walk in the 10th. Rogers was on third because just before that we saw, I believe it was Victor Caratini. It might have been Chas McCormick. Chas McCormick move the runner, Brendan Rodgers, to third. Then Myers walks, runners on the corners for Altuve, and Altuve hits an RBI single, and it is then 8-7. The Astros have their first lead since 1-0, and then one of my favorite plays of the day, the double steal. Myers steals home, and Altuve steals second, and it's 9-7 after that. Let's get to individual batters. Altuve 2 for 6. Not as good. I mean, look, Altuve was great today. Not as good as his 3 for 5 day yesterday with a home run, but still, great day for Altuve. Had a stolen base. Tried for a second, but got a little greedy. Tried stealing third. That could have messed the Astros up, but thank God it didn't. He scored 2 runs, had 2 RBIs, a single to left in the first that helped the Astros score a run in the first inning. Scored on in the 5th inning, had a play that scored DeZenzo on an error. Obviously, he didn't get an RBI for that. That had the RBI single to score Rogers in the 10th. Isak, his best game as an Astro, 4-hit game, 4 for 6. Single to left in the first inning, advanced Altuve to third. 5th inning RBI single. Myers scored. 6th inning single to score Rogers. Single to left in the 9th, which was big because that was the tying. That's what brought in the tying run with Yordan Alvarez getting to the. Well, Yordan would have still had that at bat, but that's what set the Astros up to tie the ball game up. His single in the 9th. Great game for Isak. I'm not gonna say that it was worth getting rid of Kyle Tucker, but because Kyle Tucker's still better than Isak. But when Isak has games like this, and you look at the future you have with Cam Smith once he really starts to figure things out in the major leagues, and you have a solid pitcher like Hayden Wozniacki, the trade's not going to look too bad knowing that Kyle Tucker was never going to return to the Astros this offseason. You'd love to see Isak have a game like he did today. Yordan Alvarez went 2 for 4, hit a sac fly in the first. Then he fouls out to catcher in the third, but then single to left to load the bases in the 5th inning. It was really just a bad play by the outfielders. It should have been a fly ball, a fly out. Line out in the left, and then line out to left in the 6th inning, and then he in the 9th inning hit a home run. Another 2-hit game for Christian Walker. He hits a single in the 1st inning, Paredes to third. He struck out in his next 2 at-bats and then ground out to pitcher in the 7th. But in the 9th inning, he hit a nice double. This almost was back-to-back home runs for the Astros, but it wasn't. Christian Walker hits a double to center. The Astros were to bring in Mauricio Dubon as a pinch runner, which was the smart choice. If you saw Christian Walker moving to second on the double, he wasn't moving too good. So if you would have had Jeremy Pena, who was next up to bat in that inning for the Astros, and he were to hit a single, which he didn't, Who knows if Christian Walker would have been able to score from second, but Dubon, there's no question he's going to score from second for the Stros. But he hit the double in the ninth. They replaced him after that. That was the smart decision. Dubon didn't have any at-bats. Pena went 0 for 4, was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning. He had a nice start to this series on Thursday, but the last 2 games, not so much. Yanner Diaz has been a real problem for this offense. I'm glad the Astros moving down in the order with how bad he's been struggling. Have JP pass him. If you're the Astros, the next guy I want to get to with Diaz going 0 for 5, batting 77, having a guy like Brendan Rodgers who has absolutely killed it on this road trip so far. 2 for 5 day to day, single to left in the 2nd inning, single to right in the 6th inning, has been going nuts. Went 3 for 4 the first game of this series. Yesterday had 2 hits. Or no, I think yesterday he went 1 for 3 with a double. With how good he was in this series, knowing there might be more RBI chances for Brendan Rodgers if you move him ahead of Yanner Diaz, is that a smart idea for this Astros team? And especially knowing that he plays good in the cold. The Astros going to Seattle. You got another cold place. Brendan Rodgers, might be nice to see him move up in front of Yanner Diaz in the lineup. Zach Dezinza went 0 for 2 with a walk and scored a run. Victor Caratini replaced him as a pinch hitter in the 8th and grounded out to pitcher. Chas McCormick also had an at-bat in this game, sacrificing Rodgers to 3rd. Myers had a good day, 1 for 2 with 2 walks and a double to left. And that was really it. Like I mentioned, Ronel Blanco was terrible, going 1 2/3 with 5 hits, giving up 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Contreras was terrible as well, 2 1/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. But then Montero, 2 innings for the Stros, giving up 1 hit, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. And then they got good work from Brian King, Brian Abreu, and Josh Hader in the next 5 innings, which helped the Astros get a 9-7 win. Let me know your thoughts on the Astros 9-7 win in the comment section, and peace out, go Stros.